Hello guys, it's Andre and today we're going to take a look at the M4a1. This is the new weapon on Insurgency for the security. We have a single fire mode and full automatic on the weapon, and overall I think the weapon is pretty good, especially for close to medium range engagements. I play often on push, and on push you have always to switch position, you have always to move, you have always to change the distance from which you engage enemies, because there are so many enemies and you can't expect just to fight in a single point, maybe on close quarters or just on long range. So I find the weapon pretty good for those kind of situation. It also uses the 5.56, which means good damage, better than a submachine gun, but not as good damage, as good stopping power and penetration power than a 7.62 AKM, for example. But this allowed for the weapon to have full automatic with less recoil, so it's easier to manage than a AKM, for example. And you can also put a foregrip on the weapon, which makes the recoil a lot easier to manage. And once you get the grip on the gun, how to handle the recoil, it's pretty easy because it's mostly vertical, and also with the foregrip it becomes very easy. The weapon performs very well, but I found two main problems for me. The first one is I was playing on push, and on push I always try to pick the demolition guy, because yes, you have the M4a1, but you also have a really good explosive that can be really useful to the team in order to clear out an objective or defend an objective with a C4, for example. And I got to pick this weapon and I see 4 supplies just to have the weapon, with no scope, with no ammunition, with no foregrip. And then I go pick the foregrip, it's another 3 supplies to get the foregrip. I understand it may be different in other modes, but 7 supplies just to get the foregrip and a weapon. And if I want to pick the armor piercing, I can't get the armor piercing ammunition, I can't get anything else. In my opinion, this is a big downer for people that really want to, one with smoke, grenades. You either choose this weapon and try to put everything that you can on the weapon, or you focus on having the weapon with no attachments and you go with something else. In my opinion, 4 supplies are too much for this weapon. It's a good weapon, but not good that you need 4 supplies, in my opinion. It's really well balanced, it is not overpowered. The second problem is that I don't really like the iron sight on any M4 that I play on video games, not just on Insurgency. And it limits a lot the visibility for me. It might be different in real life, might be easier to hang with in real life. But for me in video games, it's really a big problem because it limits the bottom part of the screen. If you have somebody running around the iron circle on the aiming point, you don't see him. If they move, it's really hard to keep shooting them if you want to lead the shot and all that stuff. So I don't really like the iron sight, and that takes us to the first problem. When I choose this weapon, most of the time I need a scope, and this takes more supplies, and I have to sacrifice something else. Despite that, I'm really having a lot of fun using it, and I think the developers did an amazing job with the sound of the weapons. Not just the M4a1, but also the K74, they change all the sounds in the game, and they feel realistic first of all, but second, you can really track down where the shot is coming from. So shooting in some location makes you a really easy target, because people are gonna know exactly where you're at. And one thing that may improve a little bit are the footsteps. The footsteps, I don't really know if somebody's running close to me. Might be my headset, which is not that great. It's a 20 Heroes headset, but I think they can improve it a little bit, because in other games it's a little bit different. Said that, I think the weapon is pretty good. I think they should remove some supplies in order to get this weapon. The rate of fire is great, the recoil very easy to manage even without a foregrip. And it might be a problem at distance using this weapon. I tried with the high zoom scope to shoot somebody at a really long distance. It wasn't exactly the best experience, and now I'll tell you why. I started shooting people at distance. Sometimes I was lucky and I was killing somebody, but wasn't the perfect weapon for long distance shooting. Because when I see a target and I see just the arms or a little bit of the target, I start shooting the target and the bullets weren't going to hit on the first shot where I wanted. Sometimes I was hitting the cover, sometimes I was hitting the arms instead of the torso, and they most of the time managed to run away. So the accuracy at distance is not that reliable. And the second thing, on this game, the bullets, once it travels, the more distance it travels, the more damage you lose. So that means you may not be able to kill on the first shot. And taking into consideration the loss of accuracy and the loss of damage at distance, if somebody is sniping, and most of the time if you snipe at long range you have to face all the snipers, they will have a big advantage over you. They have a bigger scope with more zoom. They also have more damage at distance and more accuracy. The only thing you can hope for that they miss the shot and you have more time to suppress them or keep shooting. But take in mind, the more shot you take, the more inaccurate you will be. You want to hit on the first shot. So on distance is not the best, but sometimes you can try to face all the snipers if it's an only option. I just don't recommend choosing this weapon for sniping. So that's it for this weapon, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Did you like this weapon? Did you not like it? Was the review helpful? And see you on the next video.